Hi, welcome. In this video, you're going to see me working with Tiny as part of just beginning the second phase, part of the service dog training, with more focus now, focusing on her helper role in terms of helping her owner. If he needs help from either a seated position or even if he's on the floor in a situation where he needs Tiny to help, get him to stand up. In this video, you're going to see me beginning to shape that response, okay, in terms of getting her to start to accept some pressure, some weight, but on command. So I'm going to be doing certain things in this video. You're going to see me bringing this together. I'm going to be talking through this. Now, here's the thing. As I'm doing this, it's all about, again, I talked about fixing the relationship side of things first, making sure that I'm fading in at a really good level. That's where focus comes from. Okay, this is where you look at the glue that really holds things together to have a reliable and consistent, dependable service dog, no matter where you're at. Okay, that the dog isn't going to become distracted and not perform a certain task that I want her to do. Okay, so it's all about focusing on specific interactions that are going to fade the person in first. Okay, and me as a trainer, how that transfers over to the owner. And then once that you've accomplished that, which again, Tiny is really beginning to get there, okay? She just came back from her home environment, things are going extremely well. And now I can start to, focus more on the response side of things. And this is where, again, you talk about using motivators, okay? This is where I'm going to be doing that to get her to respond in certain ways here so that she can start to accept some weight. So I'm going to be moving certain ways here. You'll see me kind of talking through this, how I'm doing this, to make sure this is coming together the right way. And so from how I kind of build the response, to generate certain responses to make them solid. So the idea is as soon as I say stand, okay, the first time she's going to hear that command on this video, this is just the very beginning. When I give the stand command is that she's just going to start to stand up and accept some pressure, and just continue to follow that right through to its completion until she's fully standing. So if someone's on the floor, she's going to do that. So I'll start this at a down position at times. And here, even in terms of moving forward, okay, so I'm going to be using that command, creating an association of that command. So I'm going to be moving her body forward, okay, so I am going to be using certain interactions, okay, to generate a response. But then, when that response is happening, then you're going to hear me, rewarding her, okay? So I'm marking that response, okay, so she can kind of lock it in, right? But I'm going to be saying the commands at the beginning part of that response as well, okay? So you're going to hear me saying the command, the stand command, reward, and I'm going to be moving her certain ways to establish that, okay, to bring that together. So this is where we switch it over to a flat collar, okay? This is where, again, I talk about the role of collars, okay? So at first, you need a little more leverage, okay, for these interactions to, to get a dog to come into agreement, okay, with certain interactions. But then once you create a certain level of change, especially when you're doing once you get to this level of starting to go into the helper side of things and motivate the dog to do so, then you can focus more on switching over to just a flat, straight collar, which I'm doing here now, because the dog is more agreeable, okay, and fading in at a higher level, so I can start to move into the flat collar. So again, I'm moving around the area here to see me start to use this command. Now, all it is right from here, you see me do it, is just me stepping forward, Tiny, stand, good girl, and then just release. So here, now I released I gave the command, okay, I made it happen, okay, through asserting a little bit of influence, okay, to get her to move forward so it initiates it. And then I'm rewarding her, okay, when it's happening. Now, and I'm putting pressure on at the same time, so I'm pushing on my hand. When she starts going to a sit position, because right now, you're going to see how this kind of expands. Right now, when I put pressure on her back, she thinks, because of how I've done the process before, I want her to sit. Okay, so it's going to trigger a sit, right, which I don't want now. So she's going to start to figure this out, because what I'm going to do here in a minute, you're going to see me do it, is when she starts to go into a sit, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to keep moving forward to, again, to reinitiate what I want. Okay, so I'm actually going to be doing something a little different here. So she figures this out. She says, okay, Dale's putting pressure on my back. You know, and before that meant that, you know, he's wanting me to sit. But now he's doing something different. Okay, and that, so this is how she connects dots, right? So she's going to start to understand. So it's all about the language of the method. So same thing here, I'm going to move her forward. Now, I can go, like I said, establish a sit position first. Now, when I start to generate this, I'm going to keep it going pretty good. Okay, so tiny, stand. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Good girl. Sit. Now here, this is part of the little tricky part of this, all right? You see me using a reward, right? Rewarding her verbally. That gets her excited, right? Your tail stuck, but then she starts a little bit of control issues going on. This is when I'm nudging at the same time. So this is why I say when you start to do this, be aware. This is why when you start to do this, I have to nudge right at the same time. So what I'm doing is keeping, again, interrupting that state of excitability. Okay, because different context what I'm doing here. Okay, and put her back in the sit. If you have to, if the dog is too excitable doing this, okay, we're still working on the relationship side of things at the same time. So these interactions with A and are still happening at a good level. Just now I'm starting to add this on a little bit, but when I'm doing this, so you have to be aware that the motivator still isn't there quite there yet. Okay, this is just like I'm tippy-toeing around. Phase 2 is more so about control and relationship. But I'm starting to tippy-toe and do this a little bit. I'm going to do it again here. But kind of pay attention to how I'm kind of dealing with certain things. Okay, dealing with her state of mind. She starts to think, oh, you know what? Got some reward here, because before it's about control, and I'm tapping her out, I'm getting her back, her focus back again. So same thing here. I'm going to do it again. Fine. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. So there, a way to compensate is to lower down the amount of verbal reward. Just kind of put it in there so that I'm, you know, giving her information that that's what I want, okay? A little bit of motivation, but don't key up. You know, assess as you're doing it. Get this level, just kind of key down the motivator a little bit, the verbal, okay? Just kind of keep it leveled out a little bit. Because you don't want to people say overexcite the dog, but it's about control and relationship, okay? And it changes the focus on what we're doing and trying to accomplish. Stand. Stand. Girl. Down. So put her back and move down. Settle her down. But you see that? You know, a little bit of motivation, right? And so again, when I'm doing this, I'm moving back and forth a little bit on what I'm doing here to keep her down. To make sure I'm staying faded in the right way, okay? Do this again. Now from here, if I want to do the command, and now I'm going to start to be careful when I say that word, because it is going to start to associate pretty quickly here. So I give the command I want for her to do, to move a certain way. Now I can do it, this is where I can start to do it from a down position. But when I do the same thing, okay, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting my hand on her back, giving her the command. I'm going to use the collar, the leash to assert influence so that she's going to respond and come up. And then I'm going to move her forward at the same time a little bit, okay, to keep her in that position, okay? So it's the same thing. So right here, because it's something different. She's going to feel something different going on here. This is different than, she knows there's something a little different happening here. Tiny, stand. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. So there we go. So there's the building block for that part. Same thing. So same thing here. Now when she comes up, And she gets a little bit, this is the thing, when you use a motivator, the dog gets a little bit, you can tell they're starting to get a little edgy in terms of, you know, looks at, they just tap that leash, you get them back on course, okay? After a while, that's all going to go away anyway. Okay, this is going to totally line up. But at first, you have to kind of multitask a little bit to make sure that these responses are aligning the right way. So I'm over forward here, not doing anything with her yet. I'm just kind of working this a little bit. Put her back into sit. We'll do this again. Tiny. Stand. Good girl. You saw that? Pretty neat. Now, this is where, again, as I'm doing it, and this is the thing, as I'm moving forward, if she's trying to sit, right, she's trying to, her mind wants to go the other way based on, you know, what the expectations were before, I have to speed up a little bit to counter that, the sit. I want her to be up. So the movement part of it will increase a little bit. The idea is, once she gets it, I start to slow down more and more and more, so she just pops straight up. Okay, so here, you have to move forward to counter her desire to want to go into a sit. Well, I'm still saying the word. So the part is I'm just shaping it. Okay, by the same time, what I'm doing is the same thing. I can nudge her out of that a little bit. So little skill set here. You're going back and forth, okay, in terms of how you're building this, how you're working this. Because it's about relationship, control. You know, now we're looking at, you know, developing a different response, okay, using a motivator, but a motivator still, in terms of motivating a dog, okay, generating a response still, you know, kind of leans on the side of control issues still. So you have to kind of, you have to be kind of going back and moving back and forth a little bit as you're doing this. So I'm going to do this a couple more times here. Tiny, stand. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. You notice right there, so what I did was pressure. You notice you're looking at the floor. I tapped her out of that at the same time, gave her a little bit of a nudge, okay, to get her out of that. So it's all about making sure she maintains focus. All right. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Down. Down. Stand. Good girl. Now this is where too, okay, we start to apply what's called jackpotting a little bit, okay? So jackpotting, in terms of context of a motivator, right, to generate a more of a solid response, right? Again, same rule applies. Okay, if you're using a jackpot, which means that you're piling on more reward for a better moment. Okay, I'm starting to do that a little bit, but again, it's the same thing with knowing what that can generate in terms of losing focus by control. So I start to do that a little bit. So the idea here is to work this stuff together a little bit here. I'm going to do it again. Tiny. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. The same thing here. She starts to stretch out a little bit here. You want to remove the hand, okay? There's certain things here. So, for example, if I'm doing this and I notice she gets her back legs way back and kind of a stretch out, I take my hand off, okay? It's almost like by taking my hand off, okay, it gives her information that that's not what I want. And even when I'm praising her, okay, so it's timing, it's on a better response. When that response is shaping together, coming together. So I'll use that to, again, shaping means that you're generating a better response by giving the dog information, okay, verbalizing, so that can make sense of it, okay? So it's all about knowing, but you have to really be watching as you do this. Or I have to be watching, okay, as I do this, to make sure my timing is right. Stand. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Sit. So same thing there. So a little better, so I can intensify my amount of praise. Okay, when I'm putting more weight on her, okay, I'm starting to lean into her a little bit more here. So here I'm just going to walk with her for a second. I'm not going to do any sort of command at this point. Notice how much better she's doing now. It's on the flat collar here. You know, default into a sit, she's doing much better. She's really starting to settle down and relax. Stress is coming off of her. And see, that's what gives you better focus. The dog's going to be focused more on what I want her to do, right? Because all of a relationship. So do it again a couple more times. You start doing this, it's not about doing too much, okay? I do it in like what I call circuit training, just like little spurts. A few minutes, stop. A few more minutes, stop. You know, don't do too much, okay? Because it's about good focus, your timing. You know, we're building the picture is what we're doing through response. So I'm going to do this again a couple more times. Tiny, stand. Good girl, good girl. Stand. Good girl, good girl. Stand. Good girl. Good girl, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Down. Stand. Good girl. Stand. 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 Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Stand. Good girl. Stand. Good girl. Leash is in front of her. I don't want her licking the leash or anything. Stand. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. See?